Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully covering alcoholic and addict just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, and drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, how is everybody today, guys? Another actually gorgeous day. A little chilly this morning for summer, but turned into be like 88, sunny, hot day. Worked hard today. Really busy today, and I had a doctor's appointment to get to. It was actually my medically assisted treatment. Scheduled appointment for 8 weeks since the last injection, and I let them know when I got there that I graduated the program, so there was no need for an injection. And just, we'll make that the beginning of the video topic here. Medically assisted treatment is fantastic for early recovery. But guys, it is not a long-term crutch. And I know there's going to be people that are going to be upset with this, but I'm just speaking my truth. I get on Sublocade because no physical high from it. You don't feel the effects. It was a monthly injection, so you couldn't manipulate it. You couldn't play with it. And knowing myself and my history, I didn't want. I wanted to take that the possibility of that out of my hands. Do what you got to do to get off the drugs, get into recovery. But be honest with yourself. Have an exit strategy and follow your plan. And I'm very proud that I have. It's just one more box I can tick in this recovery of doing things right, and it makes me very proud. So I'm happy about that. And just a good day. Again, yesterday was 18 months of sobriety, and I'm thrilled with that. Like, life is it's moving right along at a beautiful pace. A pace that I can't even almost comprehend at times, and that's because I feel like because I'm aligned with God and I work a strong program. It's not me, it's me following directions, and that's the one thing I will take credit for, is I've been really good about following my program, understanding that it was absolutely necessary. If I wanted to get the most out of recovery, I had to put the most into it, and so far I've done pretty well with that, and I plan on continuing with that. A big part of that, guys, is service. Again, these videos are a service to my community. I do them first and foremost for myself because they're lessons for me. But I could read the lessons at home and not put myself out there. But again, I do this to be of service because I love the idea of trying to help somebody else. I have a chairing position at my Friday meeting, and I go on as many speaking commitments as I'm offered because service. And then never mind, I have a service business. I help anybody I can in the community. Service is a huge part of recovery, and both for being, giving back and showing your gratitude, but also is a great way to start feeling better about yourself. And that was something I needed desperately in early recovery, because in addiction, I felt absolutely horrible about myself, and rightfully so. And being of service has been a great way to change my feelings about that. And that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. The spiritual principle of the day is we give what we can with gratitude. Every act of service, no matter how small, is a contribution demonstrating our commitment and our gratitude. The seventh tradition is confusing at first to most of us. The basket is passed and our reaction ranges from surprise, because we thought this was free, to guilt, well, because we have nothing to put in there, to shame, because other people see that we don't, to indignation, well, because hell no. In time, we absorb the meaning of the seventh tradition, appreciating the importance of our contributions as a demonstration of our gratitude and our commitment to self-sustaining support, keeping opinions out of the meeting other than addiction. We give what we can when we can, and sometimes more than we thought we ever could or would. Not with our money, but with our skills, our passion, our love, our empathy, and our time. And we also come to understand how contributing to recovery demonstrates our commitment to the program and our gratitude for its impact on our lives. Beyond the basket, it's tempting to assume that service that requires an election, gives us a title, or takes a lot of time has the most meaning. But frankly, it's about the quality, not the quantity. Excuse me. Every bit of love and gratitude we contribute has value. Sometimes momentary acts of gratitude have lifelong meaning to another addict. Remembering a newcomer's name or saying welcome back to a member coming back after relapse. And then there are those acts of service that we use to occupy us, so we can endure the terrible awkwardness we sometimes feel. Greeting people at the door, passing out books, setting up chairs. Sometimes that helps us. So that we can endure the terrible awkwardness we sometimes feel. They can help us stall long enough to get up the courage to ask someone to sponsor us. They keep us busy until we are ready to receive hugs. And at times, just having something physical to do before or after the meeting can help us keep it together. These contributions are self-supporting in a different way. We are grateful that they get us through the challenging moments. And then the affirmation for today is, what time, treasure, or talent can I contribute today to show my gratitude? What can I do to make another addict feel more at home? And these are great things to think about, guys. Like I said, for me, being of service keeps me plugged in. I know in previous attempts, again, I hesitate to even really call it a previous attempt, but I would come around recovery because it was mandated from a halfway house I was staying in. I never got involved. I never got to know anybody there. I never let anybody there get to know me. I never took a position of service. I never took the meeting. I did enjoy the meetings last time around, but I didn't give myself over. I had not surrendered to the program. I had not taken it seriously, even though I can't imagine why. I thought I was, but my heart just wasn't in it, and that's the honest truth. If you had asked me at the time, I'd have told you I was taking it dead serious, and I probably could have passed a lie detector because I had myself fooled still at that point. I had not reached my spiritual rock bottom. I had not come to the understanding that the recovery for me was something I had to practice every single day in my life. This time around, I did come to understand that, particularly because I would look back and realize how devastated I was when I came back in, and how lucky I was to be put in a position I was put in, just coming to Somerville and finding a job and finding structure and housing. And as terrible as that rock bottom had been, homelessness for 4 years and using a needle and all these things I could never have imagined I would ever put myself through, I within months I was back on drugs. And I look at that and I'm like, if that is not a defining characteristic of addiction, and if that doesn't tell me that I suffered brutally from the disease of addiction, nothing's going to. And I had to look at that honestly this time around. And again, in the beginning, it was just I needed to get off the drugs. I hadn't thought about long-term recovery. I just knew I needed to get clean. But then that's okay. That's what I needed. So I got myself into rehab, and God got me there, and God was hugely instrumental. I said a prayer while I was still getting high. I continued to pray, and He continued to send me signs and signals, and made sure I got it. And so when I get in there, I was doing the workshops openly and honestly, but again, my mental clarity had not come back yet. I was really foggy, and it was all I could do just to get through what was directly in front of me. I wasn't looking outside of it, and it was more when I had 30 days in and I got home, and I was, thinking I'd do the IOP, and again in my head, that's giving 100%. I'm gonna put, I'm gonna give up a couple hours a day for an IOP and put that in front of work, so I must be doing okay. And then I get home that night and boom, I'm cleaning up the apartment. I found a rock of crack and threw it in a pipe and smoked it. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? That was a defining moment, because I'm like, no, whatever it is I'm doing is not enough. And again, instead of throwing in the towel and running to get more drugs, I dropped on my knees and I prayed. God told me to get out of the house. I got out of the house. Boom, I found a girl that was locked out of her car. I got her into her car, and that took me out of my own despair, and boom, it was a light bulb moment. Like, yeah, I've always loved being of service. I always loved helping people out. Boom, huge moment. The second part of it was I had to get out of the house, because being alone with myself without people around me supportive is dangerous as hell, and I can't rely on an IOP that's a couple hours a day. Like, I need people in my life that are clean and sober and doing the right thing, and I can follow. And boom, immediately, like, well, where am I going to find that? Obviously at a meeting. So I get up the next morning, ready to double down and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm doing 100%. And literally, I stepped outside my door, and my next door neighbor comes walking by, knowing full well he's in the program. I asked him to get me to a meeting. Boom, brought me to my Friday meeting. And again, everything like that has been a God shot, because for once I was paying attention. I was looking for opportunities to be of service. I started this channel that next day because that was a download I was getting in rehab every day. Guys, I was terrified. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I didn't feel qualified to even be speaking about it, and that's why in those early videos I was just sharing my experience and my journey through recovery, because I didn't have anything, any built up knowledge at that point to really impart other than my experience. So that's what I was sharing every day. And as I started getting stable, but again, this for me, this was a huge thing because this was something that was very important to me. I made a commitment that I was going to honor, and I have. I've made a video every single day, and little by slow, it was on my mind all day. What am I going to talk about tonight's video? So I'm running around trying to find something positive, and it's making, it's changing my behaviors, and it's leading me into the right directions. Like, it's just been such a godsend because I was trying to find a way to be of service. I was trying to create quality recovery content. Boom, service. Chairing my meeting's been a great way to not only, like, I've gotten so much out of chairing that meeting. My ability to learn people's names, getting involved with people, my empathy level, my ability to get to understand others. Because I got to be honest, and just like so many others in those early days, I'd get to the meeting and it was a round robin. So I'd look at where the first speaker was, and I'd figure out where I was in the mix, and I'd try to decide whether I had, if I was going to be called upon to speak. So I'd be so stressing out what I'm going to say, so I don't look foolish, that I'd miss most of the meeting. And before long, I got more comfortable with people. But at least I was showing up, and I was doing my best. And I'm just being honest, because I know other people suffer from it. Is you speak for yourself, and if you can help somebody else, and somebody else gets out of it. But in those early days, just share your concerns and just be open and honest, and don't worry about it. And I say that because once I started, I realized how much I was missing out on when I'd catch a little bit of something somebody said, and I could identify with it. So I started just, like, I understood it was one more area I had to surrender. Like, I could not worry about, looking like the most intelligent person in the room, because I wasn't. And I had to focus on listening and getting something from people that had more experience than I did. So I stopped worrying about what I was going to say. And there were times I didn't have much to say because I didn't focus on it. So I would, again, boom, I would take the suggestion and I'd talk about what they talked about in the reading that day. What did I get out of the reading? What stood out to me? That's why we do the readings, guys, and that's why we do these things. And that way you don't have to worry so much about what you're going to say and put so much thought into it that you miss what somebody else is saying, and that might help you. And again, as you go on, things change. Things, particularly in early recovery, guys. It is absolutely amazing when we work a program, what our good Lord, what God does for us. Like, He restores us. And inside of 6 months, you're a completely different person. And suddenly, you have, if you're working your program, now you've taken in knowledge and you've got some good experiences and you've made some good decisions and you're starting to learn your way. And now somebody coming in day one, well, they can identify more with you at 6 months than they can identify with me at 18 months, and more with me at 18 months than they can with somebody with 10 years. Because when you've got 30 days and someone's talking, I got 10 years, like, you don't think you could ever get that. But when you see somebody that has, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, well, that's not so out of the realm, and you're on a closer wavelength with them. So, even in early recovery, there's so much service we can be of by sharing openly and honestly. And here's the thing, guys. If you go in there trying to impress people with it, you're not going to. When you go in there and you just share the honest truth, you're going to save lives. That's the importance of it, guys. And that's the one thing I caught on early on, too. And it changed everything for me because it wasn't a popularity contest. And it wasn't like trying to be the cool kid in the block. It was trying to save my life. And then trying to give back for having people being kind enough to tell me information that did save my life. And I was able to find my upbeat, positive attitude. And I was going to my meeting for, I think, 3 or 4 months before I had the courage to tell anybody in my meeting that I started this YouTube channel. And it was beautiful. I was so terrified. Oh, they're going to think, this, that, the other. And most of the members subscribed and started watching the videos. And it was great. And I got friends out of it. But I was so insecure about it in my early days that, like, I started the video. I did my first video the day I got my 24-hour chip. And I think I was, like, 5 or 6 months clean before I mentioned that I'd started a YouTube channel to my group. Like, there's just a level of insecurity that I was carrying in the imposter syndrome and all these other things. And I share that because I know other people go through it. And I literally hadn't thought about that until just now. And I think about now, I'm like, wow, like, what a beautiful gift recovery is, because I don't suffer from imposter syndrome anymore. I know I've earned every place I have in society. I feel very comfortable sitting in any room knowing full well I have just as much right to be there as any other human being. And that's not how I felt day one. It's a beautiful thing, and I got that from God and following this program, right? And the best way, there's so many bonuses to being of service. I don't want to say the best reason, best way. There are so many blessings that come from being of service, getting to know people, commitment to your group. Like, a lot of times, I know people that have signed on to make coffee because, like, they didn't think they were going to come back and they didn't get the balls, but all of a sudden now you feel a little responsibility. You don't want to let people down, and it gets you to show up in a meeting. That's why that's why we push service on young men. It's not because we want slaves. Like, nothing could be further from the truth. We got everybody involved because it's a we program, and we work together and we get to know each other. And those people that come in and they just, I felt so many times when suddenly you're laughing and joking and setting up chairs and passing out books and just getting a little bit of small talk before and after the meeting. That puts people at ease. And when you get to know people, and if you take the time to learn somebody's name, when you see them next week, you're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know for myself, when people took the time to get to know my name, and then I would talk about the concerns that I had, and I'd walk in the meeting the next week, and they'd meet like, hey, how did such and such go? How'd you make out? How'd that go? I was like, that felt really, really good. So I do that for other people. It was something somebody did of service for me, so I return the favor and do it for other people. Then there's the fact of, like, I understand that my upbeat, positive energy spreads like wildfire in a meeting. Since I've taken over chairing, I've gotten so much positive feedback that people love the energy I bring. I make people feel at ease. The meeting has grown in size, and I'm not trying to take credit for it, but I'm showing what I'm saying is that's the power of positivity, and that's one thing I do really well. And I'm in humility, I will admit that. Yes, I bring a good energy because I have genuine love for recovery. I have genuinely been given a gift. I've been given a life back. I've been given opportunity. I've been given a future. I found a business. Recovery more or less gave me the business, because when I focused on recovery instead of chasing a job, I ended up with the business. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's absolutely beautiful, because for once in my life I put recovery first. And I put God first, myself first, recovery first. All three are, that's the unity triangle right there for me. And being of service is a great way to stay plugged in. Like, I don't want to sit in the back of the room and bullshit with the people. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I notice all the time, no matter who it is, if I'm not chairing a meeting and I'm sitting in a meeting, because I go to many other meetings now, when somebody starts to talk to me, I don't care who it is, I don't want anything. Like, I don't want to be that person distracting the meeting or making... Because, guys, you never know. Somebody might have just come in day one and they're terrified to speak, and then when they go to share their heartfelt emotions and somebody's side talking, they may not come back to a meeting and they may die. So I take that stuff very serious, because, again, that's another, my paying attention is a form of service. Smiling at people is a form of service. Holding the door for people. Everything positive we do is in service to somebody, whether it be ourselves or anybody else in the community. The more you are of service, the better you're going to feel about yourself. Simple as that. And the better you feel about yourself, the better you're gonna try every day in your life. Like, what we put in, we get out. We're going to leave it at that, guys. I think that's a great way to end the video. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.